I'm Bailey Bates. Here are your headlines from Central Texas. A weekend crash in Hill County claimed the lives of 6 people, with 2 of them being children. And now there is a child fighting for his life after he was rescued by a bystander. 6 News anchor Adriana Alexander has more details on the crash.
What began as an attempt to pass another vehicle ended in a devastating crash that claimed 6 lives and left 1 child with serious injuries.
You got to understand the roadway that you're on, look at the roadway patterns, and then just understand what's going on in the area.
Texas DPS reports that the June 20th crash happened in Hill County on State Highway 171 between Bynum and Malone. It was just after 4:30 p.m. when DPS says a northbound passenger car attempted to pass another vehicle on the 2-lane highway and collided head-on with an oncoming van. Both vehicles burst into flames after the impact. Texas DPS Sergeant Ryan Howard shared how this type of passing maneuver can be extremely dangerous.
When you're passing another vehicle, you need to make sure that you can do so safely. So that makes ensuring that there's no cars approaching, ensure that you can pass safely without interfering with the driver that you're passing, make sure that you're not approaching any intersections.
Hillsboro ISD confirmed 2 of the victims were students at Hillsboro Elementary, and the only survivor goes to that same school and is fighting for his life. Howard shared how that boy is alive because of the help of a bystander.
In this instance, I can tell you there was a bystander that took action. You know, we appreciate everything that bystander did. He actually took action, jumped in, and did the best he could, which resulted in 1 child being saved. So we really appreciate him for the acts of kindness and the things that he did in putting his own life at risk.
Authorities have not yet released the names of those involved in the crash, remains under investigation. Hillsboro ISD says counselors will be available this week to support students, staff, and families as the community mourns the loss. Meantime, more than a week after flash flooding caused damage across Waco and McLennan County, officials say the focus has shifted from response to recovery. Last week, local leaders and community partners hosted a disaster recovery center to help connect flood victims with resources. But now emergency management officials say they're starting to pick up the pieces and still need the community's help to do so.
The June 14th floodwaters are now gone in Waco, but the impacts are still being felt across the community. Last week, a disaster recovery center at the West Waco Library brought together local agencies and nonprofits to help residents navigate the aftermath.
The Red Cross was able to help with muck-out kits, with a couple of other things that they were passing out. As mentioned before, there was now a very well-documented case where a family had come in, had fairly substantial damage to their home, and we were able to connect them with Texans on Mission, who have come out and done a very good job helping them clean up their homes.
Emergency Management Director Ryan Durker says recovery efforts are also helping officials get a more clear picture of where the hardest hit areas were.
Every person who has put something in, even from our perspective, if there's no funds moving, which is regrettable for the people who have had impacts, some good does come out of it. We learn where clusters of issues were. And so we look at that and we go, why were so many people damaged in such a small area? If there is something we can do about that, we look to do that.
And more importantly, what needs to be improved before the next major storm.
What this flood taught us is there's some other places that we needed to take a look at as far as mitigation measures, things where water came up where we weren't expecting it. Learning all of those things and kind of the experiences of people will allow us to do a more thorough job in the months and years ahead of trying to mitigate against future damages from similar incidences.
As far as reconstruction across the city goes, there has already been some progress made in the week since the floods. Durker says he believes the city will be working to finish cleanup in the next several weeks.
Well, officials are still encouraging residents who experience flood damage to report it, saying the information helps them better understand the storm's impact and plan for future flood prevention projects. Those are your headlines from Central Texas.